My name is Madeline Willis, and in this video I intend to explore the problem of psychological effects on victims and their families after kidnappings, as well as offer a few solutions for this predicament.
Because abductions are traumatic experiences, they will often have repercussions on the mental health and well-being of the abductees and their families. Some questions we need to ask are, do they have any diagnosable issues that can be addressed and solved with medication? How has the act of kidnapping affected them as a whole? And have they been physically changed? Meaning, do they experience bodily emotions and functions such as cold sweats, shaking, hyperventilating, etc. when the topic or memory is brought up?
Let's take a look at an interview concerning the Gone Girl kidnapping case. This provides a first-hand look on the trauma caused by these abductions. In the interview provided by ABC News, Denise Huskins talks about her survivorship after being kidnapped. Interviewer Amy Robach asks Miss Huskins how she got mentally through those 48 hours. Shaken and with scared eyes, Denise answers.
Tell me how you got through mentally those 48 hours.
My only hope was to maybe show him the human that is in front of him.
How did you do that?
And I shared with him something that happened when I was younger, hoping maybe that, knowing that I've already been assaulted, that he won't want to add to it.
To show the negative effects on the victims' loved ones and their family is Aaron Quinn's testimony of how the police immediately did not believe him and took him as a suspect. He was frightened for the life of his girlfriend as well as his future. He says, if she was not released, I would be behind bars.
You go to police, and the moment you walked into the door, nobody believed you.
Everything was accusatory, and fairly quickly, the detective said, I don't believe you. If she didn't get the kidnappers to let her go, I would be behind bars.
Even 3 years after the event, Denise still struggles to tell about the abduction. This event has affected her mental health as well as her family's, and it will always have left a mark on her.
Denise, like most people, was your average person. However, contrary to some beliefs, kidnappings do not just affect those who are ordinary and live day-to-day lives. Kidnapping also affects the wealthy and famous. For example, Frank Sinatra Jr.'s case revolved around a ransom abduction.
The young Sinatra was taken and held hostage for 72 hours, some of them being at gunpoint. After the authorities took care of the situation and Frank Sinatra Jr. was returned home, Frank Sinatra Sr. wrote a letter to Father Schmidt, the prison chaplain, addressing the trauma he and his family experienced and how it greatly impacted their lives. Sinatra Sr. says, "This event has caused the Sinatra family great anguish and suffering." Even though they were wealthy, it did not change the emotional challenges that came along with being the family of an abducted person. This goes to show wealthy and famous families are in just as much harm's way as anyone else when it comes to dealing with the psychological effects while their child is missing and even when they have returned home.
Because this is a large-scale issue internationally across so many boards of different socioeconomic standings within communities, I propose that this issue is looked at and taken into consideration sooner than later. I propose that because many people kidnap for a change in their socioeconomic standing, we can look at changing unfortunate living situations in order to rid the world of abductions. Another solution I propose is taking a look at the victims' mental states on a different level. A solution to the trauma they have experienced could be counseling, or organizations that specialize in taking in the abductees, and even insurance and government paid for medication for their specific mental health needs. I find it would benefit society as a whole if these victims and their families were in a place where they do not have to live in complete fear and trauma with what they've experienced before. Some positive aspects that could result from these solutions would be the victims and their loved ones advocating for others who have been affected by kidnappings and becoming a growing outlet for victims and their families in need.